everyone, welcome. My name is Tannaz Piroozi. I'm very excited to host this short conversation as part of Digital Lounge in beautiful Kreuzlingen. Today, I'm joined by Isabel Steinhoff. It's nice to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
Isabel is an entrepreneur, digital transformation expert, and a board member at ICT Scouts. Welcome, Isabel. So let's dive right in. My first question is about your motivation and what inspired you to, after your long journey as leadership consultant, a digital transformation expert, to support building the next generation of ICT talents.
So thank you first of all for having me. I'm very excited to talk to you and to talk also about this subject that I'm very passionate about. You nailed it right away. Why am I passionate about it? I think the world is changing rapidly and we need people who tackle complex problems, who do something for society, and technology obviously is a big driver for that. So we do need young talents to really go ahead and solve these problems for us, for society. And when I learned about ICT Scouts, which has been around for quite some time actually, 13 years, I was immediately hooked because imagine 120 kids sitting, funny enough, very silently at their computers, programming robots, designing images, printing them out with their 3D printer, learning Python and doing all of these things on a Saturday in their free time based on their own motivation. And having access to computers, to software, to coaches, free of charge and independent of their upbringing, of their academic background, or if they are really good in IT.
Can you tell us more about how can companies attract young talents and what defines the next generation of ICT talents?
Definitely. So what we see with our kids, because they are very young, about 14 to 16 on average, I would say, is they are really hungry for a safe environment where they can try out things. And they don't like to be managed, I would say, right? They can choose their own projects. They like to have access to coaches when they need it and when they want it. And I think that translates into companies as well. They want to be seen as co-creators, collaborators, and not just the classical workforce anymore. So they do want to have the option to bring in their ideas, to be heard, to be seen. And I think this is a challenge for the current leadership style in a lot of companies. And as we know, humans are the deciding factor for any transformation. So definitely, I think there is some work to do.
Absolutely. Now, you mentioned also the current leadership style or the classical one. On one hand, we have the classical leadership, what's currently happening in the companies. On the other hand, this cutting edge technologies, emerging technologies that they are more and more a part of our work. What do you think that leaders should change in their leadership styles to be ready for emerging technologies?
Yeah, that's a great question, and it's quite complex actually. I think leadership is very hard. I think that's important to acknowledge. And the speed of the change and the acceleration of the technological advancements are not making it easier for anybody. So I do want to preface that. And what we need is more adaptability. So are you able, I'll give you a very simple example, to have a conversation face to face like we're having right now, but also when it's hybrid, when it's in teams, are you able to ask different questions than you would if we were face to face? Because maybe when I'm at home, working from home, I'm more closed off or I'm more open. So can you as a manager, as my leader, adapt to this situation, adapt to you not being able to read my body language that much as you could do face to face? Do you have the skill to filter through the noise? Because there's a lot of data out there and data is gold, we know that. But also there's a lot of noise out there. A lot of data isn't really useful. There is not a lot of value in it. So I think a very critical skill for a leader is also to be able to filter out what's really relevant, because your team, they cannot handle that amount of information out there. So you need to really be their filter and create a story and a narrative that takes them with you, that empowers them, that gives them something to work towards. So I think these more or less, let's say, storytelling skills and really driving telling emotional stories, that's becoming more relevant as well.
Okay, thank you. In your keynote panel, you mentioned what ICT Scout does, finding, fostering and connecting next-gen ICT talent. Can you tell us more about this and what's your mission and vision in Switzerland specifically?
So I mean, the vision, the mission goes back 13 years to really close the gap between young kids, maybe not even aware that their future could be in IT or in technology, and the challenges that the companies face. So when we say we find them, is we scout them in schools, in Sek 1 here in Switzerland. As part of the curriculum, we go there, we do a workshop, and we look for people that have a high affinity for the topics, that ask questions, that really, engage in these 4 hours that we spend with them. And then we take them to our campus, which is a physical location. This is the fostering element. So there they get free coaching, as I said, and access to people from IT as well as coaches, where they can drive their own digital projects. So they can choose to learn 3D design or Python or cybersecurity, and they can really try it out in a safe environment, which I think is just brilliant. And then the third pillar, the connecting, I think is also very nice, is connecting them into the real world, because the companies, they do face challenges, and we went through those. And they need young talents. They need to start their pipeline way earlier than before, and to look for talent maybe in places they didn't look before. For example, in younger girls, right? Because that's not typically something, girls in cybersecurity, that's a new thing, and we're happy to contribute to that, and also to really make sure that the skills they can learn in ICT Scouts are relevant for the job market as well, right? Because we're talking about their future.
You talked about also the companies and the connection, young talents and the companies. I'm an executive in a company in Switzerland, and I'm looking for next-gen ICT talents. What should I do?
So first of all, definitely become a partner at ICT Scouts, obviously. Because that will give you access to the formats that we do. For example, we have talent matching, which is where you could basically imagine it as a career booth, where you can present your apprenticeships, your open jobs to our talents, and you sort of can speed date with them, and then they can try to get a job with you. So you can really early on make those connections and create a meaningful bond. Even when they go out to study later and they don't go into apprenticeships, you have already made this first impression. They know people, you lower the barrier of entry for them. What we also do is hackathons. So if you have a problem, much like here in the Digital Lounge, we give them challenges to solve. So you could also provide us with a problem that you have, something easy. For example, the other day, they hacked a web shop to hack 1,000 laptops out of an e-commerce web shop. So our kids know how to do that, how to get free laptops. That was pretty amazing. Or we're doing also something like capture the flag style, cybersecurity, escape rooms where they have to work together, which I think is also an important element. Is they don't just learn technical skills, they learn collaborating, analyzing problems, solving those problems together, and which is very important for their future.
Absolutely, what you mentioned also, to get ready for the job, so to say, for new opportunities. Talking about opportunities for our young talents, what is your advice for young talents who are looking for opportunities to study in the field of ICT? What are the top 3 do and don'ts from your point of view for them?
I think it's very hard to pick a subject to study right now, because tech is going so fast. So just to be an AI engineer, What you will learn today might not be relevant tomorrow. So going back to the basics, mathematics, which you anyway learn if you do IT. So really go look for a subject that does these hard things, which is not necessarily fun, you know, but it's a very important base skill for you to be able later to be more open to switch between complex problems, and be that in AI or it could be in cyber. But if you have these basics down, that will give you a much better foundation to later follow either your passion or what you're good at, because sometimes those don't match.
Okay. Now our conversation is coming to a closure. What I would like to know is, from your point of view, what is the optimal future with GenAI would look like?
Oh wow, that's an awesome question. I do think about that a lot, actually. If I could make a wish, I would say that it becomes an enabler for humanity as a whole to really create a better society for all of us. For example, when we're talking access to healthcare, treatment ahead of being sick, so preventative medicine is what I see. I would love personally to have like a sidekick, like an assistant who really helps me drive my tasks and be productive in a sustainable manner, right? To help me manage I'm a little bit of a workaholic, so something that would assist me there. But doing all of that in an ethical and safe manner, because when we're talking also about kids, I think we need to be aware of what it does to them, the impact this technology has on people, on how we think, and how we act. So if I could make a wish, I think that would be it.
Isabel, thank you very much for being here and sharing your experiences and the valuable information with us.
Thank you.
My name is Tannaz Piroozi. Thank you very much for your time and your attention.